What's going on, you guys? It's Coach Ike, man. We are back for another edition of just telling people stories and journeys. I'm glad to have you guys here. Today, I have a special guest, someone that I play with, both at the professional level as well as college level. My dog, he is from Miami, Florida. So we got a Florida dude. Actually got drafted um, after got drafted into the league in the fifth round. Man, this dude is a complete athlete, man. Let's welcome my guy, Rod Isaac. Yo, my dog, what's good, man?
What's going on, boss?
How's everything?
Everything good? How you doing?
Doing good, man. I was just giving you an intro, man, trying to introduce the people to who you are, man. I was telling them you from Miami. You know, most of the guys that I talk to, it's all about California. So I said, man, I had to bring somebody who on a different side of the world to explain their story. So, man, I'm glad and appreciate you getting on the call with me, man.
No problem, no problem.
So, man, we're gonna get straight into it, man. You out in Florida currently, right?
Yeah, I'm in Miami.
So share with us how that was growing up in Miami, Florida.
Uh, you know, for most people, growing up in Miami, Florida, a lot of people like say, oh, I grew up hard. I grew up in the streets. It was rural, different things like that. For myself, it wasn't that hard edge background. You know what I'm saying? I was fortunate. I was blessed to have both parents in the household. My father worked tooth and nail, worked all hard. My mom was fortunate to be a stay-at-home wife. So for me, I had the best of both worlds because I had both of my parents there, but then I also grew up in a city where, there's a lot of opportunity for things. There's a lot of trial and tribulation that you go through. So, the neighborhood I grew up in wasn't the best, but I didn't grow up in the worst neighborhood. But
Yeah.
I think it helped mold me to be the young man I am today because, it was certain dudes around the neighborhood, growing up that, they was living that lifestyle and they kind of made sure like if you was an athlete, hey man, nah, that's a little athlete, man. Nah, he can't do this, he can't do that. Hey man, nah, chill out. Hey, go home. You know what I'm saying? I think that's kind of helped me out and helped mold me into the young man I am today. You know what I'm saying? It kind of just helped me out in tremendous ways.
Awesome, man. That's powerful to hear, especially both your parents there, same as well, same conditions. Where I'm from, you got people who out on the street banging, but at the same time they're like, "Hey, man, leave him alone. He focused on what he's doing." But I want to ask a question too. Did you ever, because you was blessed, and we're gonna get into that, you was blessed to go to the NFL. Did you ever think like I'm gonna go to the NFL to change my family's like legacy or going forward? Did you ever think that growing up?
Yeah. So like once I started playing football at 6 years old. You know what I'm saying? And when I initially started out playing, I was at offensive line. They had me at center. I played center for all of probably 3 snaps.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I played it in practice. Then we got in the game. I snapped to the guy. He fumbled the ball. Snapped to him again. He fumbled the ball. Snapped to him. He couldn't get the handoff. So it ended up being actually worked out in my favor because one of the coaches was one of my brother's friends. So like, man, you got my little brother at center, man. Put him at quarterback. I'm telling you, he can run that thing. So Little League, you're not really throwing the ball.
Exactly.
They put me at quarterback. I got the snap, took off down the sideline, touchdown. Get him at that another snap, sideline, touchdown. So you know what I'm saying? So just that whole dynamic, everything, everybody sitting back looking at like, yo, you're gonna be good in football. So me, I'm thinking, hey man, I'm going to the NFL. I'm gonna do this thing because growing up in Miami, of course, I watched a lot of the Dolphins. So my favorite player was Dan Marino. He was the quarterback.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he was getting all the shine. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna go be just like Dan Marino. Now I couldn't throw worth a lick, but my whole thing was I'm gonna be like Dan
Yeah.
Marino. I'm going quarter. I'm gonna be running that thing. Boy, they're gonna have to see me. I'm getting touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? So that was always my mindset. I don't think it really clicked for me or registered for me until about my junior year in high school. You know what I'm saying? And really starting to realize it. And I started becoming more of a DB and started really becoming a fan of DBs and really looking at it and looking at the dynamic of thing. I was like, yo, I could go play on the next level. You know what I'm saying? I could go play on the collegiate level. Then I can go play on the NFL level. So that's when I really started taking it more serious.
Man, that's my next question. You went into it. Share with us how it was your high school experience in that recruiting process because Florida it's a lot different compared to California. Y'all being helmets in spring, y'all being pads already. California, you can't do none of that. So how was your recruiting process and your high school experience down there at Central?
Well, my high school process, where right now, my old high school, my alma mater, they're a dynasty now. They run off state championships back to back to back. Now, when I was in school, it wasn't the same way, but we still had those elite athletes.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? And the thing for me is I was lucky I stayed the course because my ninth grade year, I went out and tried out for the JV team. And before I could try out, like I went and asked, like, oh, y'all having football tryouts? The coach looked at me and I ain't looked like much. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
I was about five. My ninth grade, I was about 5'6", 5'5",
Mhm.
120 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So the coach looked at me, he's like, nah, man, tryouts over with. So, I ain't really care. I'm like, man, I ain't got to play no football. I'm all
Exactly.
right.
Yeah.
But I didn't even play my ninth grade year just because of that. So my sophomore year came around and I really was fortunate because I really didn't have a GPA to play. So they
Mhm.
put me on a little contract. I played my sophomore year and I ended up playing JV my sophomore year. Had a good year. I feel like I supposed to have been moved up, but the varsity team we had was a state contended team. They just ended up losing third round, so I didn't get moved up. Went my junior year, so I started playing varsity. When my junior year, I was the starter. We had a kickoff classic game, man. And you know me, I'm paratoed with all that stuff. I ended up tripping over my feet and missing an interception. The coach benched me.
Oh
So I'm
man.
like, I'm like, bro, I had a good game. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I had a good game. I just missed up at the end, a little trip.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I got benched. So I ended up getting benched. I played special teams. I played in spurts. You know what I'm saying? But then my senior is when it really took off for me because I came back with a vengeance. Like, nah, man,
Gotcha.
I know I can do this. You know what I'm saying? I know I can do that. I know I can play. And you know what I'm saying? One of my idols growing up was Ed Reed. So I used to watch him like, man, that dude walk like me. He be tripping over his feet. I know I could play. You know what I'm saying? He just won with ball. I'm like, man, I know I could play.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the thing that really benefited me was being fast. You know what I'm saying? That's always what I skill myself on, being fast. So I used to make sure, I got to run to the ball. I got to make sure I'm doing the good things and be around the football. As far as recruiting wise, it didn't really pop off for me that well. In the spring of my senior year is when it really started like getting there.
Mhm.
So going into my junior year spring, going to the senior, we had a few practices, and for us, like, so down here the big thing is football and then track. So
Mhm.
we run track, we play football. So I ran track, and I was fortunate to make it to state. So I missed like a week of spring practice and all that stuff. So the second week of spring practice, we came out, and we think, oh, we ran track, we just got to go helmets a couple of days. Head coach was like, nah, man, y'all go throw full gear, full gear. So we throwing full gear. I go out there and practice, and Kentucky was at the practice. I came out there.
Yeah.
First play, I'm in the deep middle because I played free safety in high school. First play, I'm in the deep middle. I get an interception. Running back the other way. I was fast, running back the other way. So the Kentucky coach, at the practice, he come with me, talk with me. So he's like, man, man, I'm gonna stay in contact with you. Now, the thing that really was crazy about the whole situation, had I knew that Kentucky was in the SEC, I probably would have, and knew what the SEC was and how that would have probably benefited me more. I
Yeah.
probably would have started staying in contact with Kentucky more. But there's a guy by the name of Pete Rozelle that worked at Memphis, man, and he was recruiting me as well. And I think me and him had like a great relationship. You know what I'm saying? I built a bond with him. So I was I was hell bent on that I'm going to Memphis. Like
Mhm.
that's what school I was going to. And for me, like I said, I didn't have did much research. I didn't know anything about conferences. All I knew is that Memphis was Nike, and then I seen them on First 48 a lot. So they
Exactly.
looked like Miami to me. So I'm like, oh man, it's like the crib. It's
Yeah.
gonna be used to what I know. You know what I'm saying? So I was
Uh-huh.
being an ignorant kid. I'm like, man, they were Nike. They look good. I'm gonna go
Mhm.
there. So the Kentucky coach comes, he's like, yeah, man, we want to offer you a scholarship. We think you come in and be a corner, this and that. I was like, man, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. You might keep that. I'm thinking I'm gonna go to Memphis. So
Dang.
he's like, I appreciate your honesty, man, but you could have just, could have kept the offer and boom. He's like, but maybe I'll go find another kid and end up coming around. The thing that kind of hurt me too, though, because Pete Rozelle ended up leaving Memphis and getting a coaching job at Stanford.
Mm.
Now I went to Miami Central. I was not a scholar athlete, so he already knew. He's like, yeah, man, He's like, it might not pop off for you at Stanford because the grades.
Mhm.
So he actually ended up. That's how he ended up helping me in my recruiting process as well because that was along throughout my senior year. The season came and all this stuff, and with him recruiting me and me having that relationship with him, I used to send him like my little film cut ups and stuff like that. Like, because back then we used to have recorded on VHS.
Yeah, yeah.
So I used to record stuff and send it to him. So he actually compiled and made me a little highlight tape.
Mhm.
And he was good friends with Coach Kaufman wasn't there when he was there. He was our linebacker coach. When I first got to MT, he was linebacker coach. He was good friends with him, and he ended up sending my film to him and a couple more other coaches and stuff like that. And that's how I ended up getting MT because
Gotcha.
he sent my film to them. So that's
Gotcha.
what helped me get MT or whatever.
Man, I think it's two things. And young kids, man, you guys got to understand. He said two things. He said, first of all, he ran track. So you guys I'm just a football player. I'm a football specialist. track, man, that's the best thing that's gonna help you as an athlete. He's gonna teach you how to run. He's gonna keep you in shape. All these things. He also said he had a relationship with the coach. The relationship with the coach, even though he left, helped him get to another school. So you guys want to get to these schools, make sure you treat these coaches right, even though you may not go to the school. You keep that relationship. He might get a job at another position at another school, and now that's a school you want to go to. But if you've been like, coach, I ain't messing with you, this and that, you mess it up for yourself. So make sure you guys are not just staying in football. Do other sports where it helps you out, and then also keep good relationships, man. So I'm glad you shared those two things, man. So we got to MT now. How was that stepping on that campus and being that far from? Is that your first time being away from home, like for a long period?
As far as you mean, like for extended period of time?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first time being away from home for a extended period of time. You know, I had took a few visits going to different schools, but like actually going to MT, yeah, it was it was a change of scenery for me.
So,
You
so
know,
yeah, how was share that experience with us?
so you know, like I said, I'm from Miami, Florida. You know what I'm saying? And so coming out of high school, I think the offers that I had, like once everything was set in stone, I had Middle Tennessee, FAU, FIU, um, Toledo, Bowling Green, Idaho, like some other stuff all the way on the West Coast, some stuff up north. So for me, honestly speaking, like I said, I didn't do my research, and you know, one thing about it is I feel like I made the best decision for me, and then it ended up being a good decision for me because of the people I met and the relationships I built. But for me, I was sitting back and I just thought I was like, man, I don't want to stay in Florida because I don't want to be so close to home. You know,
Yeah,
you go back home every weekend, you get in trouble, you're around things you don't need to be around. So then I was like, I don't want to go too far north because I'm gonna be too far away from home and I don't want to be super cold. So then I was like, yo, Middle Tennessee. I said, bro, that's right in the middle. Like, I'm finna go there. I
yeah,
told Coach
yeah.
Diaz, like when he told me, I was like, man, I'm gonna commit. He's like, hey, you haven't even seen the school. I was like, man, I'm tired of all these visits, all this stuff. I'm finna just commit, Coach. I ain't got time for to just commit. So like, nah, I want to get you up here and at least let you see it. When I got up there on the visit, I was like, yeah, but I don't think I'm finna commit here because I'm like, it's so dry and empty. I'm like, well, nah, this ain't it. You know what I'm saying? But then I got to, you know, get around some of the guys and stuff. I was like, you know what, bro, it ain't gonna be that bad. I'm coming to play ball. I'm finna like do my thing. You know what I'm saying? I think that was maybe the best decision I made in my life, bro, because it took me to a city that was so much slower, and I was able to really just focus on school and focus on ball. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no really, you know, the nightlife wasn't extravagant up there, but we had the best of our times. You know what I'm saying? But it was able to allow me to flow. It slowed everything down for me because like I said, I come from Miami, Florida. Man, listen, the nightlife here, things don't start jumping off till about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you'll be up till 5, 6, 7 in the morning and look at it. Oh, I got to be back up something else. So, like I said, it was a change of scenery for me because things was closing at 12 in the morning, and I'm like, yo, I was just getting ready to go out. It's already closed, so it really helped me. You know what I'm saying? Humble down and really get to be able to focus on my school studies and then focus on football.
Yeah, MT was different for me, man. When I first got up there, I just didn't like how, like you said, everything was slow. And I didn't realize I wanted to get away from home as well, but I didn't realize how much I was a city dude. Like when I got to MT, I was like, nah, man, I want to get out of
Yeah.
here. But at the end of the day, it was just like, man, I'm playing football. I gotta endure this, man. It is what it is, man. So
Yeah. The crazy thing about it though, like my freshman year, the first day that I got in that room, right? And when we got in, you know, we stayed in Scarlet, stayed in a little apartment thing. The first day I was up there, I cried in that room. I was like, bro, what did I did to myself, bro? I'm like, bro, I can't do it. You know, over the summer, ain't nobody up there.
yeah,
It's just the
nobody up
athletes,
there.
ain't nobody going. I'm like, bro, what I did to myself, bro? Why I come up here? And the thing that really had me like set back is because the first day that we went to like class, you know, we had summer classes and workouts and stuff. I couldn't go to class because my transcript and stuff hadn't been sent off to
Gotcha,
MT yet.
gotcha.
So they trying to get you know, Miss Nathan, Miss Andy Nathan, she was in the student athlete building. She was working so hard to try to get my transcript so I get in class. But that whole day, everybody was going to class and stuff. I'm just sitting at the room. So that really was like, bro, I think I made the wrong decision. You know, I started second guessing myself, but then I don't know, something just hit me like, bro, just see it through. Just see it through, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, trust in yourself.
Yeah,
Trust the decision that you made. Don't just give up on yourself. Believe it, dog. You're going to be good. So I was like, you know what, man? I'm going to see it through. You know what I'm
gotcha.
saying? I'm going to see it through. So I ended up going to the next couple of days. They got my schedule straight. I was going to workouts and stuff. And over time, like I said, I felt like it was the best decision I could have made.
No, it definitely was, man. Definitely, especially how your career went, man. And I tell my kids all the time who I come in contact with, I said, look, I know it's a big school, whatever that you want to go, do your research. This is something you mentioned. And I didn't do my research either when I was coming up. You got to do your research. It's ways to get in contact with kids already at the school, get in contact with the coaches to see how the program is to fit you. If I could do it all over again after Diaz left, I would leave just because the scheme changed. It had nothing to do like MT wasn't a good fit. Once the scheme changed, it was like, shoot, this really don't fit me. Like, you feel me? You know, we were
Yeah,
tackling more so than covering somebody. I'm like, shoot, I ain't no tackler. I can do it, but
yeah, yeah,
that's just me. And you know, just looking back on it, it's just wisdom now. And I try to help kids going forward, man. Like, look, you got to make sure these things are happening. Coach is either going to leave because he's doing a good job, or you know, if he's going to get fired because they're not doing a good job. So you guys got to figure out all these things going forward. But I get up to MT now, man, and it's your senior year, bro. You had a senior year for I don't know what you did prior. Like I said, I didn't do my research. I just knew senior year you really became into yourself, man. What was your mindset going into your senior year, bro?
going into my senior year, like you said, I believe I had, a senior year for the books, and just different things as far as just man coverage and going out there every down in, down out, and really pride myself on shutting people down. My mindset going into it, I felt disrespected. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like I said, I felt like I put in a good body of work those previous 3 years leading up to my senior year, and I felt like my name wasn't being talked about enough. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? So the thing that really helped me out with that and kept me pushing was Coach Stockstill and Coach Ellis. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Coach Stock used to always come out every day and let me know, hey, not even in warm-ups. You ain't letting them catch it in warm-ups. Like, not even in warm-ups. You taking everything serious. And Coach Ellis' biggest thing to me was, hey, man, what you trying to do?
Yeah.
Like, you trying to go to the league? So he's like, you need to start having that league mentality. Like, I remember in practice, I go one-on-one with somebody and win a rep. And he's like, you happy with that? Like, that ain't Andre Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Andre Johnson would have dunked on your ass. He just saying different
Yeah.
things, and that stuff
Yeah.
used to motivate me. Like, you know what, coach, you're right. This ain't my level of competition. I need to step it up.
Mm-hmm.
So, week in and week out, I would go into that like, hey, man, yo, listen, you got to make sure you're showing. You got to show people that you can do this at a high level. You can really do this at a high level.
Nah, I remember because prior when I got in the spring, you was very laughing, just giggling, just cool. But once we got closer, summer and the fall, he stopped all that smiling. He's like, "Hey, we got to lock in." So I can tell like something switched for you, man. So I mean, it was awesome to see, bro. You balled out, man. You did your thing. What we had 100-yard fumble recovery. We had a pick six against Monroe.
Monroe,
You had another pick against somebody else. I can't remember.
FAU, I had a pick when I fell over myself.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had one
yeah.
key, and then what else?
You had
Just a couple more
countless
games.
big hits, man. Countless of big hits.
Yeah.
So you did your thing, and then after that though, man, you had an amazing pro day. I don't I don't even think people understand because I mean you was working out up there, but at the same time we're not seeing you because I'm going to school and everything. So when we finally see you for the pro day, boy, you was like I think you was 200.
I was 198.
Bro,
198.
you was 200 pounds, man.
Yeah.
Uh, and you ran a 4.3. You also did some other crazy stuff, bro. You had an amazing pro day, man. You did so good that your body of work during the season and that pro day got you to that special moment on draft day. You got your name called on draft day. What was that experience like, man?
Just the whole preparation leading up to it, man. I really got to thank, Coach Spray. You know what I'm saying? I really believed in him because my agent initially sent me off to West Virginia. I was working at the Hit Factory in West Virginia. I think it's Hit Center, Hit Factory, one of those things. And I didn't like, what I'm saying, where the workouts were going. Because I got up there, I was doing the workouts, things like that, and it just was, excuse me, I didn't feel myself getting stronger.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, nah, man, this ain't it. Because it's like I will do a 225 test and I could do it like 5 or 6 times. I'm like, man, at MT, I was doing this like at least 10 or 12 times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
why I ain't getting stronger? So I'm like, nah, these workouts ain't it. I'm not feeling it. So I sat down with my agent. I told him, like, listen, man, I know you pay for all the stuff, but I don't want to work out here no more. You know what I'm saying? The dude I worked out with in college, Spray, I want to work out with Spray. I know he'd get me right. So I reached out to Spray. He's like, yeah, man, you come back down and I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? So I told my agent, and we worked out the deals of, him paying him, and I went back and stayed with, my boy Antoine Davis. I stayed on his couch.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I stayed on his couch the whole time and just worked out. And it just was something where it's like, he worked out as well, but it's just something like, we got to get it. We got to get it. He's like, man, you going to stay on the couch? I'm like, bro, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I stay on this couch because it ain't for the long haul. It's just to get where I need to get to. The one thing that I wish I could take back with that whole experience, though, is I wish I wouldn't have gained so much weight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because for me, I was like, I got to play in the league. I got to be big. I got to be this, you know what I'm saying? Because I felt like, okay, I'm big, but I still keeping my speed. So that was the one thing that was good for me. But, once I really got into the league, you speak on the moment of getting drafted. I think for me, it was kind of bittersweet because my grandma had passed the week before. So that week, my whole family went to Georgia for her funeral. I didn't go because I don't like funerals. So I'm not going. I stayed home. I'm going to just sit back and watch the draft. So I got drafted, but none of my family was there.
Yeah.
And then when I got the call, the year that I came out was the lockout year. So, I got the call, I was excited on stuff, but then it was like, we got to wait for this deal to get hashed out, and then we'll let you know when we're going to bring you up. So I got drafted in maybe April? The draft is in April, right?
Yeah.
I got drafted in April. I didn't go to Jacksonville until like July.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So I was sitting around all that dead time, and it's just like, man, what I'm going to do? And then during the time period, somebody broke in my house. Like, saying that my parents are broke in the house and stuff. I guess, they thought when I got drafted, the check dropped right then.
Yeah.
So, they broke in my mom's house, stole all my shoes and stuff. I'm a big shoe head. So they stole all my shoes and stuff. So it was never really a moment that I could enjoy. You know what I'm saying? And then once the lockout ended, it was like everything was rushed. So I had to go to camp, had to learn this, learn that, move. Everything was moving fast. And then, like, end up tearing my hamstring during the season. So I put on IR. So it was one of those moments like I didn't really ever get to enjoy it and understand like I was in it until like after, what I'm saying? To after like everything really settled. And I really thought back, I was like, yo, I was really blessed, bro. Like a lot of people don't get their name called. The opportunity don't come for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying?
For sure, man. So you talked about it a little bit. Describe how that was. You said somebody broke into your parents' crib and took the stuff. Was it friends and family too that came to you like after you got drafted? Like you said, they thought that check came right away. Was there any pressure from them?
I wouldn't say it was pressure, but you definitely had those people like that was agreeing with pretty much anything you said, trying to stay on your good side.
Yeah.
And then you had those people to like, the second you told them no, it was, oh man, he acting Hollywood or he getting different. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was much pressure, but because I definitely felt, like I had became the breadwinner of the family. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, you hear those sob stories. Hey man, I need 200 until Friday. I'm gonna get my check Friday, and you give them the 200. Think, oh, this ain't much money. You get 200, and then you don't hear from them for another 3 months.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Then when you do hear from them again, hey man, I'm going bad times. Let me just hold $100, and I, just with those things. And I'm a very giving person. You know what I'm saying? So for me, at times, I'm just giving out sometimes. Sometimes telling no, but it wasn't ever really pressure, but I did feel, like I was the breadwinner of the family.
Gotcha. And I remember you did come back and you talked to us while we was getting ready for our pro day, and you even talked to the team, and you just telling them like, "Hey man, like y'all keep putting this work in, but family gonna be family," and you like anybody else, you don't need to be taking care of them. So for you to come back and share that information, like you said, you was the first one really, and your family just like this money coming, but it wasn't there yet. But you like, look, because a lot of people they don't understand that once they get money, like it's pressure from friends and family, but like you already had your mind on right, like, look, I'm gonna help to an extent, but not you gonna take advantage of me, which we hear a lot of people they get taken advantage of.
Yeah.
So you shared your experience already in NFL, how you got injured, things of that sort, and you was in the league for how long, right?
2 years. I got cut my second year.
Your second year. So you gotta share the experience with because I know the story. Share the experience with the DB coach in Jacksonville overall, and just that locker room and everything like that.
Well, I would just say, the DB experience with the defensive back coach, it wasn't the best of experiences, just because. So my first year in, I'm not gonna name drop anything like that, but defensive back coach we had, he hadn't played the game. He hadn't played the game. He wasn't too much familiar with those things. So at times I didn't really feel like he had my best interest because, like I said, I came out the lockout year. So the first day we had practice, normally with an install, you may install 2 or 3 plays, but everything was so rushed, we were installing like 7 or 8 plays. But that first install, I missed the first install because I hadn't signed yet. So since I hadn't signed, I couldn't practice. So we waiting to sign. So we ended up signing after they did install, after they did meetings and everything. We ended up signing right when it was going on the field. So everything was rushed. Oh, we got to get you guys on the field. So we get out on the field, and the coach tell me, he's like, yeah, man, I'm not going to throw you in except for plays when it's man. So I'm like, okay, plays when man. I know how to play man.
Yeah.
So me not understanding so much of everything, like they played fire zone mans. So whenever the receiver was tight, they called it jelly split. Whenever he was tight, as a corner, you're supposed to back off and then alert the over. So once he goes over, you drop off to deep third. Me not knowing that, you told me it was man. He running the over, I'm running with him on the over. Corner wide open on the top, tight end wide open on the corner out. Blue. So the coach like, where the hell the corner? So I'm like, so me just being arrogant. I'm right here. What you mean? I covered the over out. Let's go with it again. Did the play over again. I covered the over out again. Wide open. Tight end again. Blue. Somebody get him out of there. He don't know what the hell he doing. So I get out. So I tell DB coach, I'm like, yo, I covered the guy, man. He was like, no, you're supposed to slow out. I said, but you told me you was going to put me in the man plays. I knew nothing about that going on. He's like, yeah, that's on me. But he didn't go tell the head coach that it was on him. He just made it seem like it was on me. And, from that point on, I kind of fell in the bad spirit of some of the coaches just because, it seemed like I didn't know what I was doing. When in reality, I wasn't even for the install,
Yeah. Now, we talked about it. Do you feel like, obviously, Jacksonville did their homework on you, but do you feel like, as far as what Jacksonville at this time, they was a heavy cover 2 team, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like that fit your strength? Because you say you know how to play man for sure. So do you feel like that fit like what you did as a player?
I would say, in essence, I could playing zone, okay, yeah, but I think the way they played it, so they played a Kathy 2, so they play like a true cover 2 where the corner sinks to the, he splits the zone down there. I was just playing like a trap 2. When we played with Diaz, I played the trap 2.
Yeah.
So we was waiting on anything coming out, jumping things like that, and being real physical in the run game. So if you said, like I said, I wouldn't say it more so fitted my natural play, but yeah, I could have played in that same scheme. It just like I said, one of the things was the rushed training camp kind of got the best of me, but then also like that first year I made the team, everything was good. It was that second year I got too comfortable.
Yeah.
I started thinking because my first year, like I said, I made the team. They was playing me in between corner and safety. And I was, for me, I was like, hey man, I'm balling, I'm doing my thing, I'm good to go. Because I was playing on special teams, I ended up tearing my hamstring. So I was like, that second year I kind of came in like, oh man, they know what I could do, I'm good. And that was the wrong mentality to have. You know what I'm saying? Like if any young guys watching this now, you get your shot in that league, especially if you're not a first round pick, special teams is your key. You know what I'm saying? You got to show what you're going to do on special teams because the NFL and anytime you play football, it's an opportunity game. Yeah. So you got to wait for your opportunity to come. Once your opportunity comes, then you have to show what you can do. But until then, you got to make sure you're playing special teams. You got to be a dog on the special teams. It's not I balled out last year. I had 100 tackles on special teams. They know what I can do. They don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? This is what can you do now? What can you do lately?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And what are you doing for me lately? So that was one of the biggest, I would say that's one of the biggest mistakes I made in my life is not really going as hard as I could have on special teams. Because that's, people ask me all the time, why do you think you got cut, man? You ain't do it. I say, bro, it was my fault. I'm not blaming. No coach, I'm not blaming. It was my fault because I ain't put it out there on special teams. You know what I'm saying? And then they sit back and look like, oh, man, you supposed to be on another team. I'm like, hey, I didn't put it out there for other teams to see. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're doing things like that in preseason, when you're going on special teams, you're interviewing for 31 other teams.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And for me, as a young guy, I didn't really know that because in my head, you have to realize, okay, I'm a young guy. So when I first went in, 2 mistakes I made when I got drafted. When I first went in, I gained too much weight. So being 198, I gained too much weight. And then the second mistake I made, I got in my own head. Like I said, I was a man, corner, other stuff, but I started thinking like, okay, man, NFL, you can't touch them at the 5 yards. You got to make sure you just mirror the route. Like, yo, I should have went in playing my game. Every now and then you're a DB, you're going to get a feel. You're going to grab a little something here. You're going to make sure you try to put it in your advantage some because the receiver knows where he's going. But for me, I overthought it just too much because I wanted to be too perfect. Oh, man, I can match the route just like this. Listen, man, the best of the best not doing it that way. You know what I'm saying? So, because they got so many option routes, different routes, things like that. So, I think that those are the 2 biggest mistakes I say I would make myself. I made gaining too much weight because when I got to the league, I started looking. I'm like, Well, all these boys ain't big at all. You know what I'm saying? DBs, I'm like, these boys like 180, a buck 80.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm out there 198 looking like the fat boy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hold on now. And you know, with me being at 198, like you said, Jacksonville played a lot of cover two. I can remember like night and day, man. We was playing Atlanta Falcons in preseason. I had like 7 tackles. I came back on the sideline. One of the safeties, Courtney Green, he's like, Rook, well, you might want to chill out. I'm like, what you talking about? He's like, well, you don't let the tackle. They're gonna have you at safety. I'm like, nah, I play corner. Lord behold, next week we come out to practice. We jogging out to practice now. We just went through install meeting.
Yeah.
We come out to practice. The same DB coach, he come to me. Hey, Rob, we gonna try you out of safety. I'm like, bro, we about to play Buffalo. I'm like, bro, you ain't want to tell me that in the install? I done wrote down all this corner, all this nickel stuff. Now you want to tell me I'm for to play safety? It's like, yeah, we're gonna try you out. And now we're in the league at safety. You got to talk. You got to communicate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, the corners were cussing me out, bro. We had practice. It going emotional. Like, what we have? Like, height. I'm messing up out there. I just, oh man, that's what I'm telling you. I was looking like a chicken with my head cut off.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just running around. But once I got hold of it and I kind of understood it, you know, I was playing and I had to realize fast, like, hey, I was a hard hitting corner.
Yeah.
I'm just okay hitting safety. You know what I'm saying? Like I get people down and safety at corner. I was hard, but hey, it was a night and day difference, man.
Man, I think you share so much, man. I think for kids, they need to understand, like, first of all, you gotta get in your playbook, regardless, high school, college, NFL. It is what it is. It's just at the higher level, you ain't got time to like keep working on you. So you
Yeah,
gotta get in your playbook. Two, I think even though, like you said, of course we can play in any system, but when you feel comfortable in a system in the NFL, not so much when you get drafted, you can't pick a team where you go. But these
yeah,
kids now, colleges, high school, they can pick where they're gonna go now. And I had this past season, I had a kid, we was trying to get him to where I was coaching at. And I was like, man, you're going to play free safety. He'd been told by recruits that he was going to play free safety. He went to another school, they sold him. He played outside linebacker and played running back. He got hurt, they stopped messing with him. He
yeah.
didn't go nowhere. So I'm telling you guys this, schemes do matter for you guys. If you're not somewhere where your talent, everybody got talent, everybody's gifted at something particular. If your talents is not being showed in that defense, offense, whatever it is, maybe you shouldn't be going. I don't care how much you like it. You shouldn't be going. And then Phil Rod, his situation was different. He was drafted there. So he had to, figure that stuff out. But you guys are picking where you guys are going. So I just want to make sure you guys understand that. All right. So after Jacksonville, you get cut. Now, a lot of people they don't talk about this. Us as men, we don't talk about it. How did that affect you? Did that play anything on you mentally? Like, did you take that personal? Because I talk about it like it's a football's business. So how was that on you mentally, and how did you take that after not being in the league?
Um, honestly speaking, when I initially got cut, I was happy. I was like, oh boy, don't worry about it. They cut me. Well, I'm gonna go somewhere else. I'm gonna go somebody that's playing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna show them. I'm gonna show them that I could do this and things like that. It wasn't until about mid-season, you know what I'm saying? Like mid-season, because at first I was getting a few calls from teams that like, if we get a spot, we'll try to bring you in. We'll try to bring you in. But then mid-season, those calls kind of like slowing down. I'm like, hold on, boy, ain't nobody trying to call to pick me up. So I started like really thinking back, like, bro, what I ever did. You know what I'm saying? Like, did I do something wrong? Did I tweet something wrong? Did something go you know what I'm saying? Did something really happen? And I started, like you say, you started doubting yourself. I'm like, man, maybe I just ain't got it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe I just ain't got what I thought I had. But then, I'm still working out. I'm still getting things to go. But I think getting cut was like one of the best things that happened to me, man, because like I said, once I got drafted, I had a lot of people around me that was yes people, like everything good. You could say, hey, man, the sky green. They looking up and see us blue, like, well, that sky surely is green, Rod. Like, man, the sky ain't green. You know what I'm saying? But they just saying yes. But when I got cut, a lot of people started falling back, like, oh, but he ain't got it no more. He ain't this no more. You know what I'm saying? It kind of showed you who was truly and really in your corner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that really helped me out that way. And, like I said, it helped build me to be a better person. So once I got cut, the calls stopped coming in. I worked out for a couple of teams. And the thing that really got me frustrated too, though, man, I worked out for a couple of teams and I'm at this workout with other DBs and like guys can't finish the workout. They cramping up, they stopping, they this and that. And then teams just tell me like, hey, we just gonna go with a veteran. We want to have some better experience. And I'm like, well, at the time I'm not telling them this because I don't want to seem like an asshole, but it's just like how do you expect me to become a veteran if you don't give me a shot? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? How you expect me to get the sprint if you don't give me a shot? Like, let me get on your practice squad or something. Let me do something to show you I could get it. So, it just over time, it doesn't work out for me. So, a few years later, I end up going trying to play arena football. And I think when I went to play arena football, my mind wasn't really in it that first year, like trying to go play it. I just went out there like, man, I just want to play ball. And I went there playing around and I got did the worst way. Like, like that arena football is fast. You know what I'm saying? I can remember now we went to San Antonio. It was a little fast guy, DJ Stevenson, the receiver. Oh my goodness. They had me at the middle safety.
Yep.
He did me so bad, boy. Listen here. He probably had a $1.24 tugs on me.
This is in Tampa?
When I was in Tampa, yeah. I was in Tampa before I went to Tampa. We went to San Antonio and played him. He killed me. You feel me? And then it just sat back and I was like, and I went out there, I wasn't in no shape. I just thought I could come out, you know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah, boy, I got to get serious with this. So I told the team, I was like, yeah, I think I ain't gonna come back. So I ended up coming back that next year and really taking it serious. And that's when I had a good year in Tampa, just playing around and stuff like that. And did my thing that year. And then the following year, that's when I came to Orlando, met up with you in Orlando and played in Orlando. But, I would have kept playing arena football because it was fun. I loved the game, but it wasn't helping me feed my son. I ended up having a kid. So it wasn't cutting the butter financially for me. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, you know what, man, I'm going to just sit back away from the game and just focus more so on being a dad, you know what I'm saying, helping out with my son. But, see, even after getting cut and all those years later, I ended up finding, ball again. Because like I said, I love the game. So I started coaching. And I think me coaching is like my way of playing again. You know what I'm saying? I'm able to give my experience to the kids, able to talk to them. And like you said, try to speak value to them in certain ways. Like let them know, hey, man, you want to build relationships with the coaches who recruit you. You want to make sure that you understand the schemes of places that you're going. Okay, everybody might want you because you're good, but do you fit their scheme? Or they run? What kind of defense do they run? Because you come from this kind of defense, you this kind of player. And down here in Miami, we got it where a lot of our kids not the biggest of kids, but they got speed, they got size. So we might have a kid, like you said, we might have a kid that plays strong safety. You know what I'm saying? But he go to school and be a corner because he just like he that athletic. Yeah. But for us, he got to fit in there because he the best one we got. You know what I'm saying? So that's the biggest thing for me. Like you said, I want to give back to the youth and make sure they understand, like, hey, you need to go to a scheme that fits you. You got to look at this. How many seniors they got on their roster? How many juniors? How many freshmen? What are they telling you off the back? Oh, we want you to come in and start. How do they want you to come in and start? If they got a Thorpe award winner at corner, they want you to start over him. You know what I'm saying? Go somewhere we're gonna be honest with you, be truthful with you.
I think that, that's awesome because you have some coaches in high school and college. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't think they can coach because I don't see development. And then at the same time, I feel like they're not being truthful because they're like, if you're not going to my school, I can't really help you out. But really, it's all about the kids. I don't care if you coach, if you train with me or not. If you ask me some questions, I'm gonna be transparent. Like, man, I don't think you should do this or you should do this. I ask these questions. So it's awesome, man, that you're able to pour into these kids' lives, man. I think that's the greatest thing we can do for those who came before us, because I know in my family there was nobody else who did it. And I had to figure out. So now that I figured out what's happening, I got to share it with these young guys, and not everybody is blessed in the same situation where their fathers go to the league or their cousins, somebody's able to come back. So I think that's where we got to come in and pour into this young generation, man. But that's awesome, man. So I got one final question for you because you mentioned it, man. You now have your own children. You have your two, right? You ain't pop with another one on me, right?
Yeah, I got 3, boss man. I got 3.
Oh, congrats, man. When was the latest one?
It was a year ago. So she actually just turned a year on the 2nd, August 2nd.
Man, that's what's up, man. I knew it was a two, man. That's what's up, man. Congrats, man. But now having your own and just knowing how you as a competitor and the expectation for yourself, do you encourage or push that on to your own kids as far as whether it's something serious or not, but do you like push sports on them like, hey, we're gonna do this and go in this direction?
Well, I got my son, he's 10, and then I have 2 daughters. So I got one that's 2 years old and one that just turned 1. So with the smaller, my girls, I ain't really push anything on them yet. But as far as with my son, I don't push anything on him because I want him to want it. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, football wasn't pushed on me. I want him to want it. But once I let him know, though, because he all the time, And I hate the fact that, you know, I did what I did and went where I went at, because now people comparing to me like, oh, you gonna play football like your daddy?
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
you know, before, you know, so like as soon as he could talk, you know, he see all the stuff around the house, my mom's house, he see all the stuff around there when we go around there. And he's just like, okay, you know, he seen when growing up, he seen what I did and seen the stuff. So now he like, oh, I want to play football like that. And he was saying that so long. So
yeah.
last year was the first year I actually let him play contact football. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't a big advocate on pushing on hard with him, because, you know, you go out to the parks, you see some of these guys pushing their sons to it's because of their failures. And I don't ever want him to feel like he had a max of anything I did. You know, I always tell him, hey man, just be better than me. You know, if you're gonna do this though, be serious about it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because I understand the business part of it that comes into it. Like, you'll get a lot of heartache in this if you really want to do this thing, and then sometimes things don't go your way. So I
exactly.
just always try to be encouraging to him. I know the one thing I want to try to do is I try to make sure I'm at all his practices, try to make sure I make all his games. Then if I can't make a practice, just at least talk with him, let him know, hey man, just give you all on everything. Just make sure you're doing the best you can. He wanted to play, you know, he wanted to go out and play receiver and play DB and stuff. But I was like, nah, boy, we're playing O line, D line.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we're not playing the pretty position. We're going out right now because I really truly believe that as a little league kid, when you play O line, D line, it gives you your toughness. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? It gives you the grit, it gives you the fight in the game. So like I said, I don't really push much on him. I try to let him make his own decisions, but at times I do try to steer him in the direction if I see him kind of veering off the wrong way, if I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Because nowadays, this social media stuff, man, you got to make sure like you really being a parent. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, some parents want to be friends, like, hey, I got to be a parent, because if not, you'll look up and they fall in the wrong kind of trends, or they doing things just being a follower. So I don't really, like I said, I don't really push it on him, but I make sure like I guide him in the right direction. Once he say he want to do something, I try to help guide him and help him understand like, hey, it's a game. You can have fun with it, but you got to take it serious, because you can truly get hurt out of this, man, and you can have a lot of heartache out of it if you ain't putting your all in, and then you're not getting the success you think you're supposed to get.
Nah, for sure, man. I think that's awesome, man. I'm gonna ask, when you go to practice, are you the dad who yelling at practice, or you just sit back and let them?
Nah, yeah, I sit back because one thing I don't want to do. So that's one thing. Like, you know, everybody tell me, "Oh man, I know you're sort of gonna be wrong. Man. I know you're working with him." Like, yo, I don't try to coach him because I know how I am. I'm so
Mhm.
hard. Like, I don't want to be that hard on him. I let him go and I let the coaches. Now, one thing I can say, you said something earlier that I agree with. A lot of guys can't coach.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And like for myself, just because I made it to the highest level, I can't sit back and say, "Oh, I'm gonna be a great coach because of that." Because a lot of people don't understand, to be a coach, you have to be a teacher. You have to be able to teach someone something. You have to be able to understand that there's different ways of learning. You know what I'm
hmm,
saying? A lot of guys just think they go out and tell a kid, hey man, do this, do that. And the kid's gonna get it. He's gonna reciprocate that. No, you might have to really get on the board with that kid. You might have
exactly.
to show that kid some film. Then you might have to go through that. You might have to go through it 7, 8 times.
Yeah,
And that's the biggest thing. We don't have a lot of guys that's willing to put in that work.
exactly.
So that's why some guys can't coach. Just because he played on the highest level, don't mean that he's gonna be a great coach. And at times people be telling me, the biggest things come around. Oh yeah, man, you might want to go play for me. Played in the league. I tell them, hey, just because I played in the league, don't mean I can coach. Come around and see
Exactly.
how I do things. Watch
Exactly.
how I do things, and watch my development. You know what I'm saying? The craziest thing for me, I coach. You know, I'm a defense coordinator now at Miami Killing. I've been in this going on my 4th year. You know, of course, I play defensive back, so that's going to be one of my specialties. But I really focus in on learning D line, learning linebacker play, just so I can know I'm well rounded. You know,
Exactly.
but I have DBs that come to me, man, and they go to these other schools. Some they playing, and they got all these picks and all this stuff. Then I tell them cover three, and they just like, oh, I got deep thirds. I'm back here. So you're not gonna split 1 and 2.
Exactly.
You got to split 1 and 2 on the deep thirds, bro. Because guess what? What if it's an overthrow up the seam? That's an easy
Mhm.
pick for you.
Exactly.
Oh, but coach, what if you throw a number one? You can't fade back. You can't play the ball. So now you're not an athlete. Come on, man.
Exactly.
Oh, coach, man, I ain't never been taught this. I'm like, well, that's a shame, boy. But y'all will run to these other schools. That's a shame. You
Exactly,
know
man.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then I be telling them, we playing zone. You got the curl flats. As soon as they see a flat route, the guy running to the flat, and then
Mhm.
the slant come over behind him. Coach, man, I seen him wide open. He's supposed to be wide open, son. It's a zone. We
Exactly.
want them to throw the ball short so you can come up to a tackle. I say, now listen, how many downs do they have to get a first down? That's 4 downs. Okay, they throw that swing route. He maybe get a yard. He may not get a
Mhm.
yard, but he get 2 yards at most. They do that for 4 downs. How many yards? He got 8 yards. Is that a first down? No. But if you keep giving them that slant, they're gonna get 5 to 6 yards a down. Now they driving down the field. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? But it's just little things like that, trying to make sure that I harp on. But yeah, I'm at practice, man. I let the coaches coach until I see like they can't coach.
Yeah.
Then I step in and kind of tell them, like, hey, man, you need to make sure you stay this and do that. Make sure you keep your shoulder square. You don't turn your butt to the sideline, because there's no way you're gonna be able to run a player down at an angle if you got your butt to the sideline.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just little things like that. But like, I let the coaches coach.
Man, Man, you talking, man. I'm going through the same thing. And the school I'm at, the kids, it's like I don't know why it's new, but these kids that the school I'm at, this their first, second year playing tackle football, and they
Yeah.
juniors. So it's just like, man, like we starting from scratch, and it's just like, hey, we got to get it right. But like you said, man, the coaching, man, and another thing is, it's not even just the coaching, because some coaches might have X's and O's. It's do the kids actually like you? Like you might
Yeah.
know all the X's and O's, you may know how to do it, but if you don't treat these kids right, they're not gonna buy in, man. And that's what these coaches got to understand too, man. Like you got to be able to have compassion and love. And as a player, you'll run through a wall for that coach because you know he got your best interest at heart rather than you just another body and just for his namesake to
Yeah.
help him look good.
You know the crazy thing about it though, man. I take kind of a different approach to that. Like you said, I want them to like me. At the end of the day, I want them to love me. But at first, I try to break them down.
Oh, no, for
I want
sure.
them to hurt. I want them to hate me. I break them down, want them to hate me. But as I break them down, I build them back up.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So I tell them all. I say, man, listen, we human. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna have those days because it's gonna be a day that you hate me for real, because I'm gonna get on you so bad you're gonna hate me for real. And you might have it for we have a falling out, and I push to that limit. And every time I push to the limit, and it hasn't failed me yet. I have a time with a kid. He just like, man, I ain't messing with coach, man. This and that. And then the day will go by, and then later on I get text, hey coach, man, I just want to apologize, man, because I just know you want the best for me.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, coach, I'm gonna come out there a little more. And from that point on, we got a clean slate. We good to go. I let them know, hey man, you human. Everybody's entitled to a day, but you're only gonna get that one day now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But other than that, they get other times they flip out. But I work with them. But from there, I just make it that mindset. You get that one day. So, like you said, once you build that kind of relationship and they understand that, and you build them back up, because some people, like you said, some guys only know how to break them down. They don't know how to build them up. Oh man, you sorry, this and that. You can't be holding that if you're gonna need this kid. You got to depend on this kid. So
Right.
you tell them right now, hey man, that ain't gonna cut it. This ain't the kind of stuff you're gonna be. If you want to be this kind of player, you got to make sure you're doing the right things. You know what I'm saying? So you got to know how to break them down, but also build them back up. So then, like you said, they'll be ready to run through a brick wall for you. Like you said, you in a situation. I'm in a similar situation right now. Like I said, this is going my 4th year as a defense coordinator, and this is the craziest situation I've ever been in, bro. So, it's a great situation because our head coach, he ended up getting on collegiately. He's the safety coach at FAU now.
Yeah, that's what's up.
So with him transitioning, leaving, we had a bunch of kids last year. Our season, we were undefeated. We lost in the 3rd round of the playoffs. So we went 13-1 last year, right? 2 games before the state championship. Returning, we had like maybe 17 starters returning on the team, like 9 on defense, 8 on offense. You know what I'm saying? We lost 13 D1 kids. They transferred to other schools.
Oh, wow.
Oh, coach, man, I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be the same, man. Coach Gipco, I don't know if it's gonna be the same. I was like, what you mean it's gonna be the same? The same guy's calling defense, right? And then our offense coordinator, he had a little situation where he left for a while, but he came back. So I'm like, same guy calling offense, same guy calling defense. It's gonna be the same. Nah, coach, I just don't know, man. I don't know. So they end up leaving on us. We lost 13 D1 guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So now it's like we back in that rebuilding phase. Like I said, we young, and I got a bunch of kids that don't really know football. Some of them say they play, but they don't really understand football. Nobody has really taught them football. But like I said, man, I embrace the challenge because, like I said, I'm here for the kids. I enjoy this. I love coaching. You know what I'm saying? I want to just pour into these kids. So I make sure every day, like I try to say, yo, listen, y'all have to realize, fellas, a lot of people sitting around here laughing at us thinking, oh, man, it's dead. They even going to have a football team. Like, they can go play at the Pee Wee Park.
Yeah.
But they don't realize we got a lot of kids, they got a chip on their shoulder because nobody know about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They young. So when we step out on this field and we start making noise, then watch how people say, oh, man, I knew y'all was going to do that. No, you didn't. Stop lying. No, you didn't, because you just thought we lost 13 D1 kids. Who would think that we're going to have something? We lost 13 D1 kids.
And that's a lot of kids, man. Shoot.
Yeah.
I'll be glad to get 3 of them. We need bodies. We need bodies. We got 2 kids with a D1 prospect, 1 for sure. But man, we just need bodies, man. So, man, it's a pleasure, man. I appreciate you, Rod, sitting down and just sharing your wisdom, man. Last thing, man, just anything you want to share. You want to ask a question or share with the audience, man. What was something that Rod Isaac can bless us with?
Well, this is one thing that, I'm gonna share with y'all, and I'm gonna share with you, and maybe you can take it on and when you're speaking to parents and talking to some of them so they can understand it. And I want everybody to hear me clearly when I say this, because some parents kind of understand me when I say it, because they be like, hold up now. Like, a lot of parents, when I talk to them about football and they start playing football, they tell me, well, coach, football ain't everything. I tell them, you know what, you lying. Football is everything. You know what I'm saying? Because if you love this game enough, it's going to teach you everything about life. If you love this game enough, you're going to make sure your grade's on point. You're going to make sure your grade average is good enough, because if you want to play football, I don't know how it is in California, but in the state of Florida, if you want to play high school football, you have to have a 2.0. If you want to go to anybody's college, you have to have a 2.5. So we tell kids to push, you got to have a 3.0, because you got to realize your test score is going to have to match with your grades. You know what I'm saying? So we always make sure I push on that. But that's why I say football is so important. Listen, I learned everything in my life from football. Not being late. If you're on time, you're late. And that biggest thing came from football. We didn't want to be late to meetings. Learning how to work hard and seeing that when you work hard, things come from that. You get success coming from that. But guess what? Every time that you work hard, it may not be success come from that.
Exactly.
You might have some trials and tribulations. All that came from working out with football and having games and things like that. You know what I'm saying? So when people tell me all the time, they say, oh, football and everything, you're a lie. Football is everything. You know what I'm saying? If your son plays football. Now, if he does another sport, then that sport is everything. And he has to make sure, he or she has to make sure that they're eligible to play that sport. If you love it enough, you're going to do everything you have to make sure that you're successful, make sure that you have the sport, that you're able to play it. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to look at it. Like I said, I was fortunate to come from a two-parent home. A lot of the kids nowadays are not that fortunate, but you have to realize, I don't know who has money saved up like that to pay for college tuition.
Exactly.
So if you play that sport good enough, guess what? You can get a free ride anywhere. And like you said, people always looking at D1. Oh, I want to go Power 5. Coach, I want to go that. Look at the NFL draft and see how many kids coming from smaller schools. Look where this guy coming from. First round picks, things like that. So if you can play, if you got the opportunity, they can do it. You know what I'm saying? They're going to find you. And it's not always about making it to the league. Like I said, NFL stand for not for long. Not everybody going to be fortunate to have strenuous careers. You know what I'm saying? I joke with my kids all the time, tell them, hey, man, listen, the one thing I'm going to be able to tell my grandkids, I was drafted before Richard Sherman. They're going to say, well, Coach Jacob, your grandkids are going to say he's richer than you. Oh, well. I was drafted before him. You know what I'm saying? So that's the one thing that I would want to leave with, man, is football. I wouldn't just say football. Now I change it. Sports is everything.
Yeah.
Because if you care about your sport enough and you have a coach that's really dedicated, hey, you got to be on time. You got to make sure you're working hard. And things like that. That stuff is going to translate to life so much. When you go to jobs, listen, when you go to jobs, most times as an athlete, you go to jobs, people say, oh, man, you're the best worker we done had because you put in so much work because you understand what it takes to be a part of a winning team.
Exactly.
You know? So that's the biggest thing I could leave you with, man, and really just want to let the kids know that who you're working with, like, hey, man, coach got your best interest at heart. Just make sure that you listen to that guy. You know what I'm saying? I know Ike, you know, we played together in college. I know what kind of guy he is. We played in Orlando, you know what I'm saying? I know the kind of guy he was and the kind of guy he is, you know, is on a spiritual journey and things like that and the things he believes in. So, you know, at times they'll look at you, oh, man, he too short. He this stature. Listen, man, he has all the tools. He has all the accessibility, things that you need to be successful. So, you know, at times you might not like Coach Ike. At times you might not think he'll know what he's talking about. But if you believe in him and really trust in him, you're going to be successful. You know what I'm saying? And just give it your all. And if anything, if you ever need anything, reach out to me, bro. You already know you can call me and reach out. And it's always love, man.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate the gym, man. I appreciate you for your time, man, and definitely be reaching out to you more, man. Just checking in with you, man. And congrats, man, on an addition to the family, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Am I invited to the wedding, man?
Hey, you know it. Listen here, brother, man. You know it. But listen, I don't know about all the wedding stuff. We might have a reception, big reception. We're gonna two-step all night.
Whatever it is, man. I'm able to come out, man.
I got you.
But I appreciate you, man. Love you, man. Hope the best for you. And we'll be talking, man.
All right, bro. Be good.
All right, bro.
Yeah.